Tonight's guest is communications and political consultant Jamie Mithi, who is no lightweight. Jamie is a world champion debater, having won various awards at competitions and speech contests. He has also traveled to Israel and spoken on the issue on several various platforms. Welcome, Jamie.
Well, thank you for having me. And I think I also want to say, Mama, I made it. From the townships of Pumula to ELCA.
Let's wait till the end of the show before you've made it or not.
That's something. That's something.
Jamie, you've written a lot. You've unpacked, and you've argued the position of neutrality. Can you tell us a bit more about the value of neutrality in issues of conflict?
So that's inaccurate. I've argued that engagement is actually a preferable strategy to disengagement. So my principal gripe with the positionality of the BDS is that the BDS is calling in principle for disengagement, the boycott, the divestment, the sanctions. Now, I don't actually think that this is an effective strategy for achieving peace and prosperity for both sides. Now, I know this is a very complicated dispute. It's long-standing, and it gets very heated. But I do think walking away diminishes the likelihood of the necessary conditions for what you have referred to before as a just peace. I don't think you can achieve a just peace without both parties coming to negotiate. In order for both parties to negotiate, there needs to be sufficient goodwill. There needs to be credible mediators at the table. But right now, we don't have the environment for that, and part of that is because of the approach the BDS has taken. Now, the BDS takes an approach which demonizes Israel, which antagonizes those who support Israel, and what that does is it diminishes the goodwill that is necessary at the negotiating table. Now, I know that this is messy, but the way you achieve
Let me hear a bit more about your idea of hearing both sides and of playing the mediator, absolutely. Playing the engager.
So North Korea, South Korea have had a dispute for the longest time, but now we've begun to see positive inroads in that dispute because they're engaging each other. They're crossing the border fence. The two presidents were crossing the border fence. And what that said to the global community is that these guys are now ready to talk peace, and we can now support that peace process. But it took a very long time for us to get there.
So would you see yourself as somebody who's a mediator, somebody who's bringing people together, as somebody who's neutral, as a broker?
So I think South Africa...
Now I'm asking of yourself.
So I would like to facilitate the debate, absolutely. Same way I'm having this debate with you, because you see, I have a debate background. So I believe in the power of debating, dialogue, negotiation.
But Jamie, the truth of the matter is that you're lying right now. The truth of the matter is that you know neutral arbitrator, you know mediator, and you know engager or supporter of dialogue. The truth of the matter is that you are a representative of the South Africa Friends of Israel. In addition, you also flew through to the USA with an organization called Stand With Us, an organization that is directly funded by the Prime Minister of Israel's office to the tune of $1 million a year, and whose sole mandate is to try to stop, try to slow down, and to try to stop the growth of the BDS movement, as well as to promote the Israeli agenda. In fact, if I may just finish.
Okay, so go ahead.
If I may just finish. In fact, you also participated at the annual AIPAC conference, a conference which progressive Jews such as Bernie Sanders and others refused to have any participation with or any association to. You have, in fact, chosen a very clear stand on this issue through your participation with South African Friends of Israel, Stand With Us, as well as emceeing, for example, a conference that took place in Johannesburg called the Israel Advocacy Conference, a conference that was deliberately all about how do we ensure that Israel's agenda flourishes on South African campuses, and how do we stop the growth of the BDS movement by demonizing it.
Great, fantastic. Now, this is not what we're not going to do here, Muhammed, just so you know. We're not going to play the game, which I teach my kids not to do, the ad hominem game, right? The ad hominem is the weakest form of argument, because instead of us engaging on what are the best pathways to achieve peace and prosperity for both sides, you've decided to spend 2 minutes trying to besmirch my name. But I'm going to respond to those attacks because I think it's important for South Africa to know the answer. I am happy to be invited by whoever. I work professionally as a political consultant and a commentator. So if people ask me to MC, I'll MC. I'm happy to go and speak on my views,
We're running
which
out of
I'm
time.
sharing. Now we're running out of
taking a
time.
break, but
Now
can
we're
I
running
just-
out of time.
can
So
I just
the ad
ask
hominem
that-
doesn't work, you see, because now we're running
I
out
don't
of
want to get into a
time.
back and forth. I just think that the idea of positioning oneself as a political commentator when in fact one is paid and
Are
one
you going
is,
back to the
and one
personal
is
attack?
part
Can
of
we,
a lobby.
can we in
This
the
should
second
be
half,
clarified to
can we
our
in the second
viewers.
half focus on the issues? But I would like to have a right of reply to your attack in the second half if we're going to a break right now. Because the reality is, if BDS invited me to go to Gaza, I would go. Do you know why? I'm a debater. I'm interested in seeing all sides. And if
Israel
you were to
wouldn't
ask
allow you,
me-
but let us take a break right now. Stay with us as we continue the conversation after this break. Make sure to use the hashtag LHIO on social media.